Hello and welcome to HSBC, Apprenticeships, a Gateway to Career. During this session, you're going to hear from our apprentices about how they have navigated their entry into work and how they have gained confidence and skills during the duration of the apprenticeship and how this can aid them in their future careers. So we would like to ask each of our apprentices to introduce themselves.
I'm Gwion Parrington. Started with a CSR level 3 apprenticeship. Before it finished, got promoted to CSC in branch in North Wales for you.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Billita, and I'm on the third year of the WPB apprenticeship scheme, currently in my role as a customer strategy and insights manager, and really enjoying it.
So I'm Cian Holland. I'm also on the degree apprenticeship with Sylvia in my role as a digital product analyst, and I'm in my third year of the apprenticeship.
I'm Ellie. I'm my third year as well with Sylvia and Cian on the WPB apprenticeship scheme, and I'm an assistant product manager within unsecured lending.
I'm Cal Adams. I started I entered HSBC on the apprenticeship of the CSR, so I've just been continuing with that, and we're getting quite close to the end now.
Fabulous. You may have noticed HSBC loves an acronym, including HSBC itself. So you may be wondering what a CSR is. It's a customer service representative in our branch, and our degree apprentices are in wealth and personal banking, WPB. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Jazz, who is going to be our host for this session, asking questions to our apprentices. Thank you, Jazz.
Thanks so much, Jo. So hi, everyone. We have an amazing set of apprentices here who are more than happy to share their experience of apprenticeships at HSBC. So I think the first question that I would like to ask you is why you applied for an apprenticeship and why you've chosen to do an apprenticeship instead of a traditional educational route. So Sylvia, would you mind if I please come to you first?
Of course. So I actually did go to uni for a year. So I went to the University of Birmingham and I studied English linguistics for a year whilst working part-time and saving up to try and buy a flat. So at the end of that year, because it was COVID year as well, I did hardly go into uni. Most of my videos were online. I found it quite hard to study, really. And whilst I was working as well, I really didn't have much time for anything else. So in the summer, I decided I think a better option for myself would be going into either full-time work or going and finding a degree apprenticeship. So I was actually speaking to somebody that now I class as my mentor, and he was like pushing all these ideas onto me and being like, oh, go check this out, go check that out. And the next day I sat down and had a look for degree apprenticeships online, and after some digging and applying to a whole load, I found HSBC and applied, got through the process, and I'm here now.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Cian, would you mind if I come to you and ask you the same question?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I applied as like a second chance. So similar to Sylvia, I went to university, straight after going to college. At the time, never really knew what it was I wanted to do. Ended up going and doing like a sports degree because I played different sports and thought, well, I could, learn to do this as a job. I think, when you're studying something every day, you realise that it's maybe not quite for you. So I just went into getting a job, ended up working for HSBC. So I was like an internal applicant for the apprenticeship. After my fourth year working, that's when I saw the opportunity to apply for it. And, for me, missing out on getting the degree was always something I'd felt like I'd missed out on. So I just thought it was an amazing opportunity to push myself, enhance my career, and get a second chance at doing it.
Yeah, I think degree apprenticeships really offer that method for you to enable you to be able to work towards your degree, but also you're gaining the work experience and getting paid alongside it as well. So such a great way to still get a degree. Al, what about you? What was it that made you apply for the apprenticeship programme?
So looks like a lot of us went to uni around about the same time. I will say that. I did a year and a half or so at the CCCU here in Canterbury, and something just wasn't, it didn't stick. I've always been a bit more practically minded anyway, so I figured, well, I'm going to start looking for work, what I've done here. Stumbled across an apprenticeship, and it's given me the opportunity to sort of set some foundations in that industry that previously I didn't work in.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Finally, on this question, I'll just come to Ellie, if that's okay. So what was it, Ellie, that made you apply for the apprenticeship programme?
I didn't actually go to uni, so I'm a bit different in that sense. But for me, when I sort of left school, I wasn't actually told about degree apprenticeships. This was obviously 5 odd years ago, but instead I actually was an estate agent for a few years, changed career, and again, like Kian, I was an internal applicant, came and worked for HSBC, and saw the opportunity and just couldn't let it pass. For me, I think it's a no-brainer, the fact that we can obviously have a degree that's completely paid for, so we don't have any student finance or student debt, and also just being able to have the exposure and different roles within the degree apprenticeship that allows me to figure out where I want to work and who I sort of want to be within the organisation, but it also has given me, the world of work as a bigger experience. So if I do potentially leave HSBC or stay with HSBC in the future, I've got sort of skills for life, really.
Great, thank you so much. And finally, we'll just come to Guion. So Guion, what was it that made you apply for the apprenticeship programme and not go by a traditional educational route?
So I was pretty aimless in school, never really know what I wanted to do. Finished sixth form with average-ish grades. Didn't really do much with it, just found a job in the local area, wasn't getting anywhere really. I was just looking at further education options. None of them really suited me. Going to uni wasn't appealing at all. Going to college was the worst thing I could have imagined. So I was looking for different opportunities, found out my local branch of HSBC had an apprenticeship scheme going, which would allow me to both get the qualifications that I'd failed to get earlier in school, but also to earn a wage while doing them and progress my career. So went in that way.
That's really interesting story. And what did your family and friends say when you told them that you were completing an apprenticeship programme?
Yeah, they were very happy for me. So a lot of my family, obviously, well, all of them are aware of who HSBC is and what they do. They were just happy to see me get out of sort of the rut that I was in and get to a job where I was able to express myself more and climb up the ladder.
That's really great to have such supportive friends and family around you that are really happy for you to get onto the apprenticeship programme. Sylvia, can I come to you and just ask what your family and friends and your network thought when you told them you were going to go to a degree apprenticeship?
Absolutely. I think for me, it was a little bit different. My family, especially my parents, were very apprehensive. They were very worried about it, actually, because I'm the first person to go to university out of my whole family. So it was a bit of a shock when I said I'm dropping out and I'm going to do this apprenticeship. But when I explained it to them, I was like, look, I'll still be getting the degree because it was one of my life goals as well, to be the first person to go to uni. I'm still getting my degree. I'll be able to work essentially full time without having to stress myself out the way I was. Going to uni and working part time is going to allow me to pay all my bills, pay my mortgage. I'll still be able to kind of complete everything that I wanted to do whilst not having to pay for university and getting a full-time wage. They really came around to the idea, and I think they are so happy now that I've been able to find this opportunity. And in hindsight, they probably think that it is a much better opportunity than going to traditional university. And so my friends, I have another friend that is actually on a degree apprenticeship with a different company, and he's absolutely loving it as well. So yeah, my friends were always for these kinds of opportunities.
Great, and it's nice to hear that you were the first person in your family to go to university, but actually you're still gaining your degree, but just via a different route. So that's really great. You should be really proud of yourself. Keen, can I just come to you and ask what your family and friends thought when you told them you were going to be doing an apprenticeship programme?
Yeah, of course. Well, none of them had ever heard of what a degree apprentice was, so they were a bit sort of confused and surprised. But obviously, after explaining it, they were very happy, very proud. They obviously all loved the idea of getting a degree while not paying, this student debt and all that sort of stuff. And I think with how obviously they know me and how I learn, the sort of normal way of in lessons taking information in one specific way, they always knew wasn't really for me, and that's how I struggled with it. So when they learned more about how you're learning, on the job and getting real experience and having opportunities to take in the information in different ways, I think they were much more confident and happy that I got this opportunity to do it the way I wanted to do it and how I learn.
It's a great way to still gain your degree, but in a different way and learning in the best way that's right for you as well.
Yeah.
Ellie, can I just come to you and ask you what your family and friends' opinion was when you told them you were doing your apprenticeship program?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, myself, I was actually a little bit apprehensive when I heard the word apprenticeship, because I think people tend to sort of associate it with maybe the beginning of a career. But I think one thing that I would sort of like to add is, so my friends and family, actually, part of my family worked for the bank, so two of my family members actually already worked for HSBC, and when I told them that I was doing the apprenticeship and applying for the apprenticeship, my family was so happy. They knew of just how respected and how great this was. So that sort of gave me even more ambition to apply to the degree apprenticeship, just based on seeing how my members of the family that were already in the bank sort of viewed the degree apprenticeship scheme and other apprenticeships within the bank.
That's really great to hear. And then, Cal, if I just come to you and ask you around the skills that you think that you've developed whilst you've been on the programme. So what would you say are some of the main skills that you've developed whilst you've been completing your apprenticeship programme?
So I think honestly the main thing is like a massive improvement to sort of interpersonal skills. Sort of generally, I work first point of contact with the customer. It is a constant back and forth. So you've got to have that good sort of interpersonal skill with the customers. On top of that, there's sort of self-management, like making sure that you can hit your own sort of performance goals, learning what to set for yourself as well. There's a lot of different what you would call soft skills involved.
Yeah, definitely. I think on the apprenticeship, it's such a great way to develop your soft skills, but you're also gaining technical knowledge as well. So it's a great way to develop your skills and behaviours and experience all whilst you're working. Jean, what about you? What would you say are some of the main skills that you've developed on the programme?
Yeah, so I think there's obviously all the different soft skills using different IT systems, but I think two of the really big ones for me is first of all just been sort of the confidence that you get from it, from trying to get different roles previously and being turned down, and sort of always worrying whether not having a degree was going to sort of stop me at one point, or I could only go so far. Having this opportunity, getting the degree, but also being able to try all these different roles that we get the opportunity to be placed in has massively helped me sort of improve my confidence and know that I am capable of doing these things. And I think another one which plays into the confidence is sort of self-reflection as well. A big part of the apprenticeship is looking back on the achievements you've done throughout the year and evidencing it to show how you're learning these skills. You sort of, you pushed into it. It's never something I've been able to do before, but being sort of pushed to self-reflect and think about what I've done throughout the year has helped me sort of take all those learnings and skills into, the new roles I've been given.
Definitely, that's really great to hear that the apprenticeship has really helped you with your confidence in particular. That's really, really great to hear. So Ellie, can I please come to you and ask you around the skills that you think that you've developed whilst you've been on the programme?
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach than everyone else. Of course, I've learned things like confidence and to time manage and everything like that. But these are skills that I think I sort of carried before with my other job. But one thing that HSBC has given me is actually in my second placement, I was very fortunate to get a data analyst role where I've actually been able to learn how to code, so to do SQL coding, Python coding, which is obviously a skill that I can take wherever I go, if that is within the bank or not. Also Excel skills, technical skills that you can take in sort of any organisation as well, and in overall industry knowledge of your banking, finance, and multiple different sort of skills that I would say that I would never have got elsewhere. I think also the degree apprenticeship allows me to take the time to learn these things. So I was very, very scared initially when I got the data analyst role, but being able to now say that I can code SQL very confidently, and actually being able to use this in my new role to sort of make such a difference already. So it's just such a great skill that I've been able to develop and have from the apprenticeship scheme.
And probably coding is something you'd never think you would ever learn either.
Absolutely not. Not something I would have picked for myself, but it's honestly the amount of people that contact me now and they're like, oh, Ellie, can you help me on this? And even my new manager has said that something that I was able to do in 2 weeks, they were looking to get the resource for that was going to take over a year. But because I already had that experience, I've been able to already benefit the unsecured lending team, within the first 2 weeks of my placement, just on that skill alone. So it's just been great. The opportunities are matched, in my opinion, of what I can learn.
That's great. And on the degree apprenticeship program here, obviously you're moving around different placements, so you're able to take those skills with you into each of the placements and into new teams, so you can network with different colleagues and probably support the new teams you're going into with those skills. You can take them with you.
Definitely.
Guion, can I come to you and ask you what you'd say some of the main skills are that you've developed on the program?
Yeah, so similar to Carl, I am first point of contact for a lot of customers. So also communicating with them, understanding their needs is something that's very important to my role, skills I've had to develop over the past year and a half. But also like technical skills, using the browser on a day-to-day basis. Our system's quite old and completely alien to somebody like me. But it's the people skills more than anything that I've developed, being able to have conversations with people, identifying customer needs, as well, something you can take to any job you have, really, where you can just have a conversation with somebody and think, oh, well, this product that we have would benefit you. You'd save hundreds of pounds a year if you use this product instead of what you're using already. And just being able to help our customers get the best experience for them.
And obviously HSBC's main kind of purpose is to provide an amazing experience and good customer service for all of our customers. So it's great that the skills you've been developing has supported that main purpose as well of HSBC.